Hello, everybody out there in YouTube, internet land. I always mess that word up, Randy. Internet land. Me and Randy here for our second installment of Changing the Face of Officiating. Today's topic is pregame. We're going to try and discuss, we're actually going to try and keep it shorter also. Last time we went around 30, 35 minutes. We're going to try and stay around 15, 20 minutes. So look forward to that. Less of Jeff and Randy. You can actually stomach your dinner tonight, so or whenever that is. But all right, so we're going to get started with pregame. We really want to start with basically on when we pack our bag, and we're going to go all the way until we, have the toss of the ball. So first things first, Randy. What's how do you pack your bag?
Carefully.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I actually pack at least two of everything. And I always pack my bag the day before. I was talking to a referee last year, and we actually met up in the parking lot at the same time before our game. And he went into his trunk to get his bag, and he had a second bag in his trunk, just a small little duffel bag. And inside that small duffel bag, he had a shirt, pair of pants, pair of socks, pair of shoes, and a whistle. And it was his way of, regardless of how I actually pack my bag, or even if one of my partners, he always has the essential emergency kit in his trunk. I thought that was a really neat idea. I've never done that, but I thought it was an interesting idea.
So just to be clear, he packs two bags.
He packs one bag in October and leaves it in his trunk the entire season.
Well, that's great. As long as I'm not the guy using it in February. I have to sit in the trunk in October. I already stink when I play call, so I don't want my clothes to stink. All right.
So what do you do when you pack your bag?
Well, first things first is I never let anybody else pack it. I pack my bag. And I've shared a few things. I always make sure that I have two pair of pants, two shirts. I was usually say two of everything. Some of the things that I do outside of that is I always wear black socks for the game. Just in case whatever, my black socks aren't in there, my partner doesn't have socks. I know I at least have a pair of black socks on. I don't want to show up wearing the Argyles and go, oh, I don't have black socks. Well, good news, you got the Argyles or whatever they wear nowadays. So I always do that, and I always have black shoes on. I've kind of veered away from that because it's tough to wear black shoes to games with, just this style just doesn't allow that. But typically I try to have some sort of black shoe. I've been wearing brown shoes lately, but bottom line is I pack my bag, okay? I'll only take things out of my bag nightly if it needs to be washed, if it needs to come out. I'm not going to take out my jacket and set it to the side when I'm just washing my pants and shirt or undergarments, whatever that is.
Yep.
If it's not being washed or necessary for it to come out, it doesn't come out. I don't take whistles out, so I can do that. There was another thing that I do that I think I thought was interesting. I forget. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that's all good stuff. I actually pack two pairs of shoes too.
Yeah, I don't do that.
Yeah, I have two pair, but I also have other essentials like you're talking about that I put in there for the entire season. And now if I need to replenish those, I'll replenish them. But I'm not going in and out with even things like deodorant and socks and things like that. I have specific basketball essentials. And they go into the bag and they never come out, like you said.
I think there's even a lot of times, even, whether it's a high school game or a Division III game or even Division I, whatever that is, I think a lot of times you can save some space in your bag if you don't even put that deodorant and stuff in there. First of all, you're going home.
Yeah.
Okay, the odds of you needing deodorant from the car to the 2-hour drive home, probably not necessary. 2, soap. Every locker room that we're in, coaches are using. They have soap sitting around everywhere.
Yeah.
So there's another thing we could take out of our bag. Now, some people got to have their own soap or whatever it is, but sometimes I think we make it more difficult on us. Now we got the big bottle of, Dial or whatever that is, or
Right.
Old Spice in there, right? And it pops open, and now it's all over our clothes when come to find out there was soap already there. Even if there's no soap there, there's a good chance you really don't need a whole lot of soap to get you 2 hours home, right?
Yeah, and that's a good point, though, is that if there is anything in there, even think about some people will shine their shoes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't do that. The shoes that I buy don't need to be shined.
Right.
There are people that I have seen that they'll bring shoe polish or the black, sticky, whatever it is, the kind of spongy one. If you're going to do that, I would highly recommend you put that in a Ziploc and you put that in another pouch, because I have seen officials open up their bag and they got shoe polish all over their jersey, all over their shirt. And so I think it's just little things like that we can prevent issues.
And here's my thought on shoe polish. If you get new pair of shoes every year, you don't need shoe polish.
You don't need it. Yeah.
You just don't need it. I mean,
I actually think the days of really, I know they still have some patent leathers out there. There was a time where they wanted us with really shiny patent leather shoes. They don't care. If they're black, good enough.
And they're black and they're new. So they're going to look very, very nice. Yes. You're not running in dirt.
Yeah.
You're running on a regular basketball floor. So and some people are going to go out and spend $1.99 or $4.99 for a bottle of shoe polish to save a pair of shoes another 2 years or whatever that is, when you're really, for your health, for your knees and your feet and your legs and your hips, you should have a new pair of shoes anyway.
Yeah,
so spend the $60 or $100 or whatever it is and get a new pair of shoes. All right.
So we're 5 minutes in. I'm just keeping us moving here.
Yeah, don't forget. All right. So next. So now, what do you do as far as, maybe pregame, you've packed your bag and now it's game day and you got a 7:00 tip. You got to be there at 5:30. What's your leave time? What's your plan of attack for game day?
Well, I try to be in the vicinity of the school 2 hours before the game, regardless of the level, regardless of how far away it is. I want to aim to be there. Now, if it's snowing, I'm going to give myself maybe even an extra hour or more, right? Because we just don't know what's going to happen. With what I do, I have some luxuries that not everybody always has, but I try to get if I've got to get out of the Chicago area, or even if I have to referee inside it, I try to stay away from rush hour traffic as much as I can. I would rather be there at 4:00 and go get a bite to eat, or fill the car up with gas, go get a car wash, than sit that hour and a half in traffic and now take the risk that I get stuck in an accident. Or truthfully for me, I just get frustrated in traffic. I don't want to be showing up at the game and I'm already mad because I just didn't like dealing with the traffic. So I'll leave even earlier just to avoid heavy traffic, if I can. So, and then once I'm at the game, I be in the locker room by an hour and a half before. I typically get a little bit of heat, get the muscles loose. I pull out the little roller and roll down the muscles and kind of have a whole little routine of stuff that I do that really doesn't even have anything to do. I'm just getting my body ready and mentally ready to roll to do that. And I typically do all of that with at least undergarments on, shorts on, and those kinds of things, because I've kind of used that moment to say, okay, I'm taking off the clothes I came in. I'm starting to put on the armor. And it starts to get me mentally prepared that everything we do from that point forward, we're getting ready for our time out on the floor, ready for battle.
Yeah, and something you said also, you try and get into the vicinity 2 hours, even if you're doing a high school game. If we're at high school games, local high school officials, chances are they're already they live or work within an hour of the game anyway. So that, I think that's good. The thing I would say to whether it's a high school official or, maybe somebody working a JUCO game that doesn't have to be there until an hour before, if you're sitting at home in your chair thinking, well, it only takes me 60 minutes to get there, and it's right now I got to be there in 55, so I'm going to be there in 55 minutes. It takes me 55 minutes and it's only 60 minutes. Why wouldn't I just get up and go instead of sit in the chair for 5 more minutes going, all right, now it takes me 60 minutes. It's 60 minutes. Now I'm going to go. If you're just sitting there, you might as well go. If you're just sitting at work going, well, I can leave anytime I want to, why not just go? Now, if you have work things to do or whatever that is, I get it. Everybody gets it. But I just think we spend so much time going, oh, well, it only takes 60 minutes to get there, so I'm not going to leave any earlier than I need to. I'm not going to worry about if there's a train or a car accident or heavy traffic or snow or whatever that is. So the other thing I like to say also is in the city of Chicago, I've learned in the winter, if it's snowing, I'm taking a toll road if available, because toll roads don't make any money if nobody can travel on them. So they will be clean. They will be clean, so you can get through. I-94 in Chicago is a non-toll. See, buddy, is a non-toll, and they want to get it clean, but they aren't making any money if nobody's on it. They don't care. 294 or 355, the only way they get people to pay the tolls is if people are on it. They can't close them up. They're not going to close them up. So I take a toll road when necessary. So, all right, so we're going to get to the game, decompress, get yourself ready. Now here we are, partners are here. One of the things I also like to do too, especially if we got bad weather, I'll even text my crew, whatever it is. Hey, game time's in 3 hours. I'm leaving in 20 minutes, whatever it is. Let me know if I can help or whatever it is. Just kind of let everybody know I've left early. I'm on the road, just touching base. So, I don't know. What about you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I actually had a time last year that I texted my partners the night before. The game was about an hour from my house. We were getting a really bad snowstorm. They lived many, many hours away. And I texted them and said, what are your plans? This was the day before. They both came back and said, we're leaving tonight and getting a hotel. Now, not everybody can do that. Yeah. Not every game can you do that. But they were far enough away that they recognized they didn't want to take any chances the day before. So I think you have to have that communication. And I've even texted coordinators to say, weather's really bad, but your crew's here. We're all good.
Yep.
That's one less game that coordinator has to worry about in the middle of a snowstorm, that all the referees are present and accounted for. And as a coordinator, I appreciate, I don't need that on every game. But when there's snowstorms and you get a text from an R that says, we're all here, good. I don't have to worry about anything.
Yeah, and also the ADs feel better. They feel better they feel so much better if you walk in. You don't have to be there at a high school game. You don't have to be there until 45 minutes prior. And you walk in 90 minutes prior, they feel better. All right, we're good. So let's take the pressure off, not only us as a crew, but our athletic directors and coordinators and things like that. All right, here we go. So we're not going to go through a lengthy pregame, but I want to know some of the things you do once you walk on the floor. What are some things you do?
When I hit the floor?
Yeah.
Yeah. So one thing, and it's kind of an interesting thing, and it's certainly not a required thing, but when I get out there, regardless of the position I'm in, I look at every single line on the floor. I'm looking for in lines and division lines and what kind of volleyball lines do we have, because I have been in games where we have stopped play to call a violation for over and back division line, and all they did was cross a volleyball line that was a similar color 4 feet from the midcourt line. Mm-hmm. So I check out all those lines. Where are my three-point arcs? Where's my RA arc? Do we have two? Do we have tick marks? And every line that's there, do I have anything that I'm concerned about? How is my space on the sidelines? Or do I have any obstructions or belts that are hanging above the backboard, and is my clock recessed, and just not just checking out the players and all the things that we're required to do, but am I seeing any things? Where are cheerleaders located? Where could I have potential collisions? I just want to have a framework, especially if it's a facility that I'm new to. I want to know what I'm working with. I got to work for the next 2 hours here. I need to know my ropes before I get involved in the moment. And so that's just one of the things that I look at first when I get out there right away.
I think it's a good point to bring up the lines. For me, it's the 3-point arc line. Whether you're doing a college game or a high school game, you could very easily walk onto a floor that they have both games on there, high school and college.
Yeah.
And we got to say, hey, which line are we using? We're using the blue line, or we're using the white line, or whatever that is. So we need to make that clear. We don't want that to surprise us at 30 seconds to go, and now we got this tight 3-point shot. I go, oh, I forget which one line we're using.
And do you actually say that to your partners?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Whether I'm the R, U1, U2, whatever that is, they say, it looks like we're playing the white line today. And some will go, yep, got it. Some will go, what, why not? You know,
Right. Right.
what are you talking about? So, I go over those things that I always want to know. We talked about scoreboards. For me, I want to see where the foul count's going to be. Where are my team fouls going to be located? Are they only located on the left side of the arena or whatever, the east side, or they're only located over the other basket, whatever that is? Are they located all over? That's fine. But a lot of places are only located in one place. I don't want to have to search for that when it gets close. So, and another thing I like to do is I like to just make a little bit of eye contact with my official scorer just to see if he or she is okay. Did they have a bad day? Are they, at the end of their rope, or are they feeling fresh and ready to go? Things like that. You see scorekeepers, they're here, and you look over at them, and you got to go check the book. Let's say the 10-minute mark. You look over at them out about the 14-minute mark, and they're doing this. Looking back and forth, like, where's the lineups? I don't have what I need. Right away, let's go over there, see if you can help with those things. So go ahead.
Yeah. They're really the crew chief of the table.
Mm-hmm.
We need a great rapport with them. So that's a really good point. So speaking of which, if I am the crew chief and I'm going to the table,
Mm-hmm.
something that I always do, but if I'm not the crew chief, I always ask the question to my R, is I always want to know, where is play-by-play? There's a lot of games that we have monitors. We go find where the monitors are, but let's talk about high school and Division III. Many times there's not monitors, but most of the time they have play-by-play. So where are they? I go up to them. I shake their hand. I want their name. I want to know, hey, I may have to come to you, right? You're going to be an important part of what we need tonight. And I think there's just so many times that we get to a game, we know there's a monitor, we stop there, or we know there's no monitor, so we don't worry about anything other than checking the book. And play-by-play can save you. It has saved us. It has saved my crew before.
Well,
I think it's always good to know where it is and make sure, and it's a great ask if your crew chief doesn't know, to just say, hey, where's play-by-play?
And, even when we go back to the high school side of things, it's not necessary. You may not necessarily have somebody keeping internet stats or whatever it is. It could be just a simple radio broadcast that is right there by the table.
Yeah.
That may know exactly who that foul was on. They may know exactly who should be shooting. They may know everything you need to know. And we think that we're restricted. We can only use this one person in the striped shirt. Well, if, they're at that media table, or whatever you want to call it, the official score table, they can use them. They can. And, sometimes I believe anyway that in high school games, there's many mistakes, even in college games. There's many mistakes made that nobody realizes they made a mistake, because the game ended up being a 25-point ball game, and it's not a big deal. You would hate to be assigned a high school game and mess up throughout the season on a situation where you can use a radio broadcast, and now all of a sudden you get a high school sectional final. And now it's all over the internet because you didn't go ask the radio people who was supposed to be shooting. So got to get used to that, I guess what I'm saying. So
yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Can I add something that I don't do?
Sure.
How about this? And I've seen people do it. We've all seen people do it. Maybe we've all been guilty of it at some point in time. I'm sure I was previously. I want to be friendly from a standpoint that I'm courteous when I greet the coaches at our, about a minute and a half before the game. We go over and we shake their hand and we say a couple of words, and maybe it's, how was your drive in? Or, it's good to see you again. Something short and simple. But what I don't do is I don't get into lengthy conversations with coaches before the game. I do not ever get into conversation with fans. And we've seen referees that'll come out, we're standing in half court, and a fan will be there in the stands that we know, and somebody will turn around and start talking with them. And that just sets us up, the perception now. And I've seen other coaches, everybody now thinks, oh, well, you've got a buddy here, and now what team are they supporting? We have to be really professional in everything that we do. We can be friendly and courteous, but we need to keep our conversations short. And I think that's something I've seen too many times, is that we think that by sparking up this conversation and befriending people, we were extending a relationship that will help us in the game. And I actually think it hurts us.
Well, and humans have a great need to feel liked.
Yeah.
So when a fan or somebody you recognize or whatever it is sees you and they want to shake your hand, it's a natural thing for us to go, hey, good to see you, la la la. And I think it's great. I think it's good to say hello and be courteous. The the problem is we just don't know what the other person's going to do. We don't know if the other person doesn't have any idea that you can't talk to them for 15 minutes before the game starts and for 15 total minutes and talk about this and that or whatever it is. And now it just looks bad. If you go over and say hello, hey, good to see you, and you know it's going to go separate, then you're good. That's fine. But you don't know. You don't know what that other person in front of you that you haven't seen in 10 years is going to do. They don't care that, it looks that way. They could be going back to the stands with their buddies and going, yeah, I know one of the referees. We're going to get all the calls tonight. Even though it's not true, but that's what they want to say sometimes. So,
yeah.
All right. So, yeah, be very, very cautious, we'll say. Be very cautious on approaching people that you may know in the stands. Sometimes just a simple head nod and a finger wave is all we need to go, and that's all they need. So, all right, so we're there. We've done captains. Typically in my captain, we got to really cut it off here, but I just want to talk about captain's meeting. Is one of the things I tell myself. I say a lot of things sometimes I don't say anything, but I don't say anything in a captain's meeting that I'm not prepared to back up. Okay? So if you're not prepared, so if you tell your captain's meeting, hey, no hand checking today, you're not allowed to do this, or two hands on, or whatever that is in a high school game, or you're not allowed to do that. That means you've told them. This is their warning, okay? And now let's just say you decide you're going to warn somebody. The other captain's going to go, you said we couldn't do it. So don't say anything in a captain's meeting that you're not prepared to back up. So don't threaten with, hey, if you don't have good sportsmanship, we're going to issue a technical foul. Well, if you decide to warn, instead of give a technical foul, now you have to eat your words. Try and keep that short and sweet for me anyway, and don't say anything that I'm not prepared to back up.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. And if I'm going to say something about sportsmanship, I may say it is imperative that we have good sportsmanship.
Yeah, it's expected tonight.
Yeah, that isn't a statement of something we're going to do. I've set the tone. They've been given their unofficial warning.
Right.
But I'm not going to say, hey, if you do this, then this is going to happen. And I don't think we should say that at any point during the game.
Mm.
I'm not a big fan of saying, hey, if you keep doing that, I'm going to have to call a foul. That's not our job.
Mm. Yeah.
That's not our job.
Like I've always said about, hey, you keep hand checking, I have to call a foul. Or I've always said, people ask me, do you say anything in the post? Hey, quit pushing, or whatever it is. Or you're getting close to a push. Well, this is how I put it. So when a girl picks up her pivot foot and I don't yell out, hey, if you put that pivot foot down, you're going to be a travel, then we wait for them to put the pivot foot down and we call it travel. So when they commit a foul, we call a foul. I mean, that's just, I think sometimes we overthink that situation. So.
I agree. And I know that people have a passion of helping people learn and improve, but we are not there to coach.
Right. Yeah, it's just all there is to it. So, all right. Well, we covered quite a bit here, and it's I think we're a good 20 minutes into it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Yeah, 20 minutes. There's obviously a lot more things, and we'll see if we get some more feedback on this YouTube cast or whatever we want to call it. See if they want to hear more about pregame and what we talk about or whatever it is. But that's what we're going to go with right now. If you want to get a hold of me, that is jeffcross22@gmail.com. jeffcross22@gmail.com. Going to get a hold of Randy, that is
rfoxref@yahoo.com. rfoxref, as in referee, at yahoo.com.
Right.
If I could make one final statement on pregames, I think it's like everything else we do. Everything we talked about today, we are very intentional about our process of what we do. It's not happenstance. We have a purpose and a plan in each thing that we do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's very good said. Very well said. So, all right. Well, we need to hear from you. You need to email us questions, whether it's me or Randy. And we also need you to subscribe to my YouTube page so that way I know that people are watching this, and share it, do whatever it is. But we look forward to seeing you guys next time. Talk to you guys later.
See ya.